And there he is, the man himself in person.
Hello everyone and welcome to Rijooviness TV, and my name is Sue Alexander and
I'm Reg Lenny. Thank you very much for taking the time to join us again today.
And we're joined by an amazing guest today, and if you haven't tuned in before, this is a great opportunity for you to share the link of Rijooviness TV with your friends and family, particularly if you have members of your family who are currently in school, in college, and university all around the world, because we are very privileged today to be joined by Charles Lewis. And I have so much to say about Charles, but just a very brief introduction. All nice things, Charles. Charlie basically is a huge serial entrepreneur and totally believes in giving back to the community. And it's a privilege and an honour to know him. He's been friends with Reg for a very long time. And we just want to say thank you so much for joining us, because today we're really going to share some of your wisdom and some of your interest in business, and also how you're reaching out to millions and millions of schools and colleges all over the world to really help the community in so many demographics, whether that's in fundraising and employment or recruitment, investment, business, all of that. So welcome, Charlie.
Welcome. Thank you.
I would like to thank both of you for the opportunity to be on your amazing show. I have been following your show now for the past weeks, and you guys are awesome. I've seen you come from the embryonic stage. Now you're an infant. Well, I think you're beyond the infant stage now. You've become the consummate professional. As I looked at the intro to the show and I saw this Caribbean entrepreneur, I'm wondering, who the hell are they talking about? And then I saw my picture. Oh, God, it's me. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the opportunity to come on the show to talk about the project that I'm working on that is so near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, well, we want to know more about that completely. And for those viewers who have just joined us, Rijooviness TV is very much about health and wellness. It's about community. It's about working with the 10 key strategies that Reg has employed for many of his clients all over the world, and really enjoying the fact that more and more like-minded people are hearing the message of looking after each other, alternative health messages, and really what we truly believe, which is everything affects everything. So,
as it does. Well, Charlie, thank you so much. We've had a great introduction. There's so many different things that we could say about you, but we'll just leave it at magnificent. Sum it all up into one word.
I was getting nervous there.
Yeah. So why don't you just take us on a little journey and kind of take us from, maybe when the whole lockdown thing kind of happened and the world started changing, and your entrepreneurial mind just went haywire and started coming up with all these magnificent things that you could do, but then you started focusing.
Absolutely. Let me start by saying that this water I'm drinking is a result of your show. Your health and wellness. I've decided to drink a lot more water, which is very important. And I have, as a result of watching your show there again, I have stopped eating meat. This is now over a week. I've not eaten any milk. I've eaten fish. And you have told me that occasionally fish is not bad. So I'm taking your advice, okay?
And how are you feeling?
Yeah. What are you noticing?
I'm feeling a lot more alert. I'm feeling less lethargic. I'm feeling a lot less bloated and a lot more energized than I have been in the past. So there is a difference that I've started to feel right away. And thank you very much for that. Okay.
Thank you for the feedback.
Yeah. I was born here in Barbados in the Caribbean. And as you now know, because you're in Barbados, it is such an amazing island. It's so beautiful. The people are extremely warm. Not as warm as the temperature, the weather, but or maybe they're even warmer than the temperature. But I then left at an early age Well, I should say I went to an amazing school by the name of Combermere here, and that school was where I got the first taste of fraternity and loyalty and even to some extent sisterhood, because in the last year or so, girls were allowed to come to the school and it became co-ed. But before it was all about fraternity, and this is the catalyst to the project that I'm going to talk about shortly. But I left Barbados when I was but a lad, maybe perhaps 21, and I spent 3 years in Los Angeles in the United States before moving on to Germany for about just under 4 years. Beyond that, I moved to Switzerland, where I lived for 6 years, and I actually got married and have 2 kids in Switzerland. And then after I moved to Eastern Europe. I'm now back in Barbados, and I think that I am much better for all that travel. Travel is the greatest education one can have. It has broadened my horizons, and it has made me the consummate serial entrepreneur that I have been for so many years. And it has all culminated into this project that I can't wait to talk about.
Exciting. And what brought you back to Barbados, Charlie? What was it that, you obviously have had some, as you say, incredible experiences around the world and enjoyed living in other cultures and other communities, very different from here in Barbados. Yeah. What brought you back?
Well, I have always been coming back to Barbados. I would come back to Barbados 3-4 times a year. Not in the early stages, because money was a bit of a problem in the first 5 to 10 years. So I could not afford to come back that often. But when I started to become more financially stable, I would come home 3-4 times a year. So coming back, I'm not a stranger to coming back to Barbados. But what started my return to Barbados was the illness of my father, who subsequently passed, and back in 2003. And then after that, my mum became ill, and she passed as well subsequently. And that was for me the point at which I decided Barbados will now become my home, because I've got 2 sisters here, and I love the idea that I can be here to support them, and also I feel at this stage of my life there's a lot that I can give back to my country from all of this worldly knowledge and experience that I've acquired from my travels. And also I've found that there are lots of interesting opportunities business-wise here. Sometimes being in a country that is not as advanced as countries you've come from, that lends to considerable opportunity.
Yes, absolutely. I think we would both agree. I love the culture here and the way that people communicate, and it's not so fast paced. Everybody has time, and everybody is very innovative, and on such a beautiful island. I mean, it's not very big. It's kind of 14 miles by 21 miles. So, it's a very beautiful place to be, full stop. Yeah. And certainly, I'm sure that you've really noticed in the last year with the lockdown situation, how it's affected the community. And I think that's really, a topic not just for Barbados, but also for the Caribbean, many other countries and, places around the world, that things have really changed. And we know as an entrepreneur really want to make sure that it's a positive change for Barbadians. And, I know you sort of said in your mission statement that, one man's lockdown is another man's opportunity to create innovative startup business. And I know you've done this for not just Barbados, but also, for people all over the world. So this is why we're so keen to talk to you, to really, how can we help? How can we all get involved?
You made mention of the changes Barbados has undergone as a result of the pandemic and lockdown. And of course, the obvious changes which are negative in terms of, the impact of COVID-19 on individuals and illness, and some people have actually succumbed to the virus. But there are so many positive changes here in Barbados, as there are in many other countries. This has become an opportunity for creative entrepreneurs to reflect, press the reset button, and to create innovative startups like I have. And I have seen a lot more entrepreneurs in Barbados in the last year, where people are now growing food in their gardens and selling from the back of a truck or a car. I've seen people, come up with all types of interesting ideas of selling food and delivering to people like yourself. So I've seen a lot of creativity, and I hope that this creativity, and I'm sure it will continue well beyond this pandemic. One of the things
we've been very grateful for that.
What it has also shown our administration that we need to be more self-sufficient in terms of food, and cut down on all these imports that we have been involved in over the years, which only causes the cost of living to go extremely high. As you've noticed, our supermarkets, food is quite expensive in Barbados, and a lot of that food that we import, I have no doubt that we can produce a lot of that here. So we need to focus more on agriculture as a result of our experience, particularly we've always known that over the years, but I think the pandemic has really brought this to the fore. And it will be interesting to see how the government tackles this ability to be self, to be able to be self-sufficient going forward.
I mean, I know that you run the Facebook group for the Welcome Stamp, which again has led to so much of the community that's coming here. Maybe you can just explain to everyone what the Welcome Stamp is, if people are not aware of, what the Prime Minister did here, which is incredibly innovative.
The Barbados Welcome Stamp is, in my opinion, the most effective marketing strategy that the government has developed in all the years of tourism marketing, and it has had resounding success. It certainly has had resounding publicity. I do not think any other tourism initiative has had the type of global exposure and visibility from the publicity that we had. We were featured in all the major news networks around the world for offering the ability to visitors to come to Barbados on an extended stay, because when we started losing traffic as a result of the pandemic, the government felt a need to develop a sustainable strategy to attract people not only to come but to stay longer. So the Welcome Stamp is based on visitors from all over the world coming here and being able to work remotely in Barbados for their companies all over the world on an extended stay up to 12 months. There's a cost for that, of course. There's a fee for an individual or for a family. And, they have the ability to get up maybe 4 a.m, especially if they're working with a UK company, and work until maybe 2 p.m. and then hit the beach. Now, having said that, there was a point at which we were no longer able to go to the beach because of the lockdown, and that was really a blow to many of the people who came here primarily because of the beach. But that is in essence what the Barbados Welcome Stamp is all about. When I heard of all this publicity, I immediately thought of launching a Facebook page and a Facebook group under the name of Barbados Welcome Stamp, and I have done that. So I am the official owner and administrator of the Barbados Welcome Stamp Facebook group and the Barbados Welcome Stamp Facebook page, which is based on offering them a platform for social and even business networking while they're here in Barbados.
Yeah, and I think it's been it's been a great platform for everyone who is new, and certainly did arrive actually in the middle of lockdown, because it was the way that everyone found where to get things and where to go and what you could do and the rules and regulations. And although it was handled super well by the Barbados government, it was a taxing time for many people, and it is really nice now that that it's easing up considerably, and people are going back to enjoying the beach at certain times of the day, and businesses are open again now. So I know we arrived slap bang in the middle of it,
Yeah.
And we were very grateful for that Facebook page, and actually discovering, as I said previously, where you could get local farmers and support local communities by buying coconut water and healthy fresh fruit and vegetables. It was actually really invaluable. So we're very grateful to you for that.
Oh yeah, that Facebook page is extremely engaging, and it's very widely used by visitors on the island, and not only persons who are here on the Barbados Welcome Stamp Initiative. Expert that they've also been using the group for information and for sharing and for discussing any related topics pertaining to not only visiting Barbados but living in Barbados and also working remotely in Barbados.
Yes, it's also responsible for me getting my yoga mat back, I believe, as well. So super grateful.
Here's the website here. That's it, is it?
Oh, yes, that's the official website from the government. Yes, that's right. A very informative website. And we also promote this website for our subscribers to the Facebook group and page for information on anything pertaining, particularly the more political and application information in terms of acquiring the visa, because that's where you go to apply, and all the frequently asked questions about it. It's all there.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And so that leads us on really to talk about Alumni Social Network, the ASN, as you have called it, and share with everyone, how does everyone get involved? What is it all about? What does it, what does it represent? Because so much by the look of it.
Well, yes. It when I returned to Barbados some time ago, it has always been a passion and an ambition of mine to be able to do something for my school, because living abroad for so many years and being so active, I was far removed from the activities of the school and the Old Scholars Association, the very school that gave me an excellent foundation for the rest of my life. And also it was the school that I could always depend on, and particularly after school when I was engaged with the Old Scholars networking. I mean, if you wanted a job, you can go to a company that is run by a fellow Combamarian, and you're guaranteed to be considered if you're qualified. And I wanted to do something for that school. So as I developed ideas, I thought maybe I can just make a donation. I could just donate to a number of things, but that is a one-off situation. I wanted to have some type of sustainable initiative to help the school on an ongoing basis. And every time I came up with a version of ASN, it was not enough. It was not compelling enough. It was not engaging enough. And so it, I slept on it many a night, and it has now morphed into what you see as the Alumni Social Network. And allow me to explain what that is. The Alumni Social Network is fundamentally, it is quite similar to any of the other social media platforms, Facebook and others. But what makes us distinctively different and unique is the fact that we focus primarily and principally on the alumni of schools all over the world. We invite them to come together under one social media umbrella, and it is for the purpose of raising millions of dollars a year from which we can donate to the participating schools. It is free of charge for the alumni of any school anywhere in the world to subscribe to the Alumni Social Network. There's no cost to the schools to partner with us. And we create on the platform a group for each of the participating schools, allowing the alumni of the respective schools to communicate with each other, and that then becomes a perfect platform for companies to promote their products and services. So every group on the Alumni Social Network is an advertising opportunity for a company by way of sponsorship, and that is how we generate revenue to the platform. We then take 25% of the revenue generated from sponsors and donate to the corresponding school. So let's break it down. Let's say let's use a UK school, since you guys are more. It would resonate with you guys. University is represented on our platform, and it is, by the way. All of the alumni are invited to register or subscribe free of charge, present students and past alumni. Once that, then it becomes attractive to a sponsor. So it costs a sponsor $150 a month or $1,500 a year to become a sponsor of Oxford University. We then place the banner of that sponsor on all the pages of the group of Oxford. Now that company is also at liberty to sponsor several schools. They may decide they want to sponsor 50 schools on the platform because they want to reach the widest section of our captive audience of alumni subscribers, who incidentally are consumers with spending power. So that is in a nutshell what it is all about, and it has tremendous sustainability. It is extremely attractive to sponsors because they know that 25% of the money they spend with us as sponsorship will go to a school, and probably the school they went to. So it appeals to their corporate good citizen, or good corporate citizen strategies.
Amazing. And so then once a year that the funds get distributed to the schools? How does that work?
No, it is distributed once per month.
Oh, okay.
Right, and we are going to invite someone from the school, because as part of our networking strategy, we will invite the student union or the Old Scholars Association, any of those networks for and past students. We want someone from that or those organizations to be the administrator of the group. So there's total transparency in terms of how much sponsorship and how many banners are going on the site. And of course, then that augurs well with the school in terms of our credibility, and we give out donations on a monthly basis.
Amazing. And there's also an element there where employers can actually advertise on the site. Is that correct? So that they can actually engage with the audience. They can get key people to work with them.
Absolutely. Fundraising is only one of the objectives. It is the core objective, but there are many other benefits. Because Alumni Social Network is also a social media platform, it gives rise to the possibility for the tens of thousands or perhaps millions eventually to network, to do business networking. So if an individual alumni subscriber were looking for a summer job or a permanent job, they can simply post in the discussion forum that they're looking for a job and what their qualifications are. And the aim is that some company who is also subscribed will, some alumni who is a company human resource manager would probably get in touch, and they can discuss that possibility. If you're looking for investment, if you're looking for business partnerships, if you're looking for staff, you can promote your staffing requirements on the platform, and there's a captive audience of potential employees on the platform. So similar to any of the other business-related social media networks, Alumni Social Network can also offer tremendous opportunity for employment, recruitment, business, and investment.
I think it's such an incredible. It's
awesome.
Really, really good.
Yeah. And are you thinking of taking this beyond? Is this a Caribbean-wide venture, possibly worldwide?
Worldwide. Yeah. Worldwide. World domination. That's what it's all about. It is worldwide, but by virtue of the fact that our subscribers come from 4 or 5 different countries already worldwide, and we will continue to spread our wings globally. Of course, something as big as this requires an infrastructure. It certainly requires funding, and I have been providing the seed capital for this concept so far, and I will continue to do so. Hopefully, we will not need additional funding from outside sources, but already people have expressed an interest in putting in placing funds with us. Now, this requires quite a large infrastructure, and because we do not have the global budgets to hire 500 people around the world, what I have decided to do was to continue in the vein of global networking. So we're now employing or creating a network of independent marketing reps who will help us to target sponsors, and in exchange for we offer them a 40% commission, which is quite attractive. And it's important that we offer them an attractive commission because we want them to see this as a very lucrative opportunity to generate revenue for themselves as an independent contractor. And we will also be recruited individuals to become moderators for the various groups. Every school in the world is a potential partner for the Alumni Social Network. Similarly, every person who went to school, whether they're currently at school now or went to school 40, 50 years ago, as long as they're still on social media, they are a potential subscriber. So we're looking at what can become potentially one of the largest social media networks on the internet. It has that potential with the participation of the alumni from schools all over the world, and with the assistance of not only the schools, but also the assistance of the school student bodies and the student unions, because we need them to help us reach the alumni. And there's no cost to them, but they become they become the first, what should I say, beneficiary of this via donations.
And the foundation of it.
And the foundation of it, absolutely.
So how do businesses get involved, Charlie? What's the process? How easy? How do they find out about it? Obviously, we have the website address running along the bottom, so people can just jot that down. And for those people who have just joined us on Rijooviness TV, we are joined today by entrepreneur Charlie Lewis, who is discussing with us his new platform, the ASN, the Alumni Social Network, which he has launched in the pandemic to really support schools all over the world, businesses, other entrepreneurs. It's a platform where people can actually recruit, help with business development and investment. It's an incredible concept, and as Charlie's really, done in the last year, has been very proactive to give back to his community as he joins us from Barbados. So, what can businesses do? How do they get involved, Charlie?
Businesses, even at this early stage, startup stage, businesses can become sponsors of the Alumni Social Network. Any company that understands the power of what we've developed and the potential of the Alumni Social Network, they know that over time they will be part of something that is huge. They can sponsor even now. Even now we're developing and we're now bringing alumni on board. A company can become a sponsor even today. And of course, smart company decision makers, they know that the price of sponsorship is only $150 a month now and $1,500 a year. But they know that once we have 2 or 3 million on the platform, the price will go up. So a smart decision maker could say, look, let me get in on the ground floor at this price and probably lock us into a fixed price for 1 year to advertise, let's say $50,000 or $100,000 in sponsorship to be featured on the groups of the schools that are already on board and those that will come on board in the very near future. I've got someone who is just adding schools. As we target a school, we create the group so that when the school principal or the president of the student body, when they come to the site, they will see their school there and it will resonate in a greater way with them by seeing their school there. It tugs at the heartstrings, because at the end of the day, it's a simple philosophy. If you want your school to benefit from this, subscribe and tell a fellow alumni, because it is only with the participation of all the alumni all over the world for a time period of the last 40, 50 years that we will be able to attract sponsors. The more alumni who subscribe, the more potential we have to generate sponsorship from which we donate money to the school. So it's quite straightforward. It might appear to be very complex when you just try to take in all of it from the site, but it is actually very simple networking that we're employing.
I think there's going to be so many people that when they kind of understand the potential of this as a platform, whatever demographic they find themselves in, I think for businesses it's a natural absolute tick in the box, because you've got such a massive reach. It's unconditional, it's worldwide, it gets bigger.
That's right. And people might wonder, why have we priced the sponsorship so inexpensively? But there's a reason for that. There's method to the madness. We want that sponsorship is accessible to the widest cross section of companies out there in any country. The smallest business that is selling wax candles, and there's a reason why I said that. I'll talk about that in a minute. A company that's selling scented candles on the internet that started just a couple of months ago can consider becoming a sponsor, because that company owner will know that they're doing something to help their school, and it's within reach in terms of sponsorship. When you sponsor a major event, you can well imagine it might cost you $50,000 US or $200,000 US to be a sponsor. This is something that can and will appeal to the widest cross section. And having said that, it's also the concept is geared towards multiple sponsors for a school. One school could have 500 sponsors.
That's amazing. Yeah, no, that's amazing. And I'm sure you will feel that the schools here in Barbados, will most definitely be jumping on board with you. And certainly, people that know you in the community, and you're very well known as a businessman in Barbados, people will really want to, lock arms with you, work with you, and make it very successful.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because here in the Barbados and the wider Caribbean, we tend to be a bit shy when it comes to innovative concepts. And I don't say this in a negative way. It's always been our culture to be a bit hesitant when it comes to anything that's new. And I need to make sure that I educate the decision makers for schools and also the presidents of the alumni associations, so that they understand what it's about. It is all about educating them to the mechanics and dynamics of the concept. Once you understand that, it's a no-brainer. It's a win-win for everyone. So I find that in the international market, you can easily have an online meeting or send a correspondence, and someone may make a quick decision to do something. But I'm prepared to go to every single school, even if I am permitted, as considering we're in a pandemic situation, to have a face-to-face meeting when that time comes, or an online meeting with each and every decision maker of every school in the Caribbean if I have to. There's an expression, you can globalize something one person at a time, and if needs be, then that is what I will do.
Amazing. Well, it certainly sounds like an incredible initiative that we're very excited to be part of, and I was very excited when I saw that I was up there under my school, which, yes, like you, I had a great experience at school, and still connected with a lot of my classmates through a Facebook forum. So the more people that you are connected to, that you probably shared an education with, then this is a great opportunity to link arms. So that's really exciting.
As well as getting to know other companies as well, because joint venture is about what it's all about right now, right? Not only
Yeah,
are individuals
absolutely.
supporting each other, but businesses are now supporting each other. So,
Mhm.
just like we're always looking for people who are on the same journey as us. And the more
Yeah,
arms you link with, the better it is for everybody.
So, Charlie, what
absolutely.
have you been doing to keep yourself very fit and healthy and well? I mean, you look super healthy, and we can't truly just put it down to the 1 week of not eating meat. And we're very happy you have just enjoyed that cleansing effect.
And at 73 years old, I mean, unbelievable.
I was hoping to lie and say I'm much younger than that, but the cat is out the bag now. Okay. So,
So mean.
Yeah.
I have been. No, Reg is allowed. We go back a long time. He's allowed. Um, you know, I have been guilty of not keeping myself in the shape that I've always been in years gone by, and I regret not having, you know, I did not keep up with my training, my exercising, and I really have no proper excuse. I've always said, well, the financial times are very difficult, and this pandemic and this, and we always find an excuse not to do what actually costs nothing to do. I can go to the beach and exercise. I can swim every day. I can get out, and in front of the house and do a workout without any equipment. So I have been guilty, and but I've decided now that the time has come for me to take stock. Particularly now I'm in my 70s, as Red pointed out. I have no choice now.
It's just a number. We love you just the same, no matter what the numbers are. We just have to order an extra size thing to put the candles in.
Well, yes, of course, absolutely. What keeps me feeling young and perhaps looking younger than I am, because people tend to accuse me of that. Why do you look so young? When you're in your 70s. Anyway, let's clear that up, folks. For the audience out there, I am not in my 70s. All right, let's not jump. Let's not jump ahead here. Okay. Anyway, the fact that I'm always thinking of new ideas. My brain is forever fresh. I have a young approach to life. I have a young outlook on life. And sometimes I forget how old I really am. But when I get up in the morning, sometimes I'm quickly reminded, though. I don't fool myself for very long, so I need a good 5 or 10 minutes walking around to get back into that young mindset. Well,
You mentioned Charlie.
Any help you can offer?
You mentioned that the sort of the mental change that the pandemic has caused, and I think that's a sentiment that many of us do share. That even the strongest of us over the last year have had moments, and we know for many people it's gone on longer than a moment. It's a real issue. The stress, the financial stress, the emotional stress, the changes, all of those elements that possibly were a structure for somebody has changed. What have you found has been most challenging for you in the last year?
The inability to do business as normal was extremely challenging. I live to do business. I enjoy it. It's not something that stresses me like it would other people. I enjoy everything I do. I would never invest in or attempt to do anything that I did not believe I would thoroughly enjoy. And that inability to do business and to network the way I love that face-to-face. I love being able to go down to the local bars on the beaches in Barbados and meet people from all over the world and soak up their knowledge and their experience to add to mine. And that inability was quite frustrating. It also, seeing my country come to a standstill was also very frustrating for me emotionally. Going from the West Coast to the South Coast and hardly seeing any cars on the road, you start to wonder, have I gone back in time here? I expected to see donkey carts, pulling some sugarcane, that's what we had many years ago. Because I remember one time when it first got started, I I went on the road early in the morning, and I was the only person, and the only car on the road for about 5 miles. I'm like, what is happening here? You start to wonder, what is the future, or what is the future going to be for this country, for any country? Are we going to get over this? You know.
Well, that comes down to the decisions of the people that are living it, right?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. But you wanted to know what also inspired me to get healthy again, get back in shape. As I was doing research for the Alumni Social Network and talking to people from the Alumni Association or Scholars Association, I was invited to a number of the Zoom meetings with people that I hadn't seen or spoken to for 30 plus years. And I became aware of some of the medical challenges that some of the fellow alumni are having, or those who passed away, and unbeknownst to me, I'm talking to people who recently had an amputation. I'm talking to someone who's had 2 strokes and a heart attack, and all the needs, financial needs and support that they require. It was with a heavy heart that I got to learn what was actually happening with people that I went to school with. And I started to feel, not only did I feel more so that I wanted to make a success of the Alumni Social Network to be able to help, but it made me feel blessed that even though I am not in the best shape that I've always been in over the years, I feel blessed that I am in relatively good shape, and I want to do better. You know, it was an eye opener for me to realize that so many of my comrades from school, my fellow, have suffered or are suffering at the moment.
Yeah, I have a question I'd like to ask.
Yeah.
So you've spoken a little bit about mental wellness as being a main topic that we're hearing about all the time. And we've also talked about how you are choosing to do all these different life choices that you do to help you to maintain the lifestyle that you're living in, the body that you're enjoying living in. How do you create that as a mental focus? Because so many people can say, oh, it's easy for him to do that, but I can't. Where does that line cross from it's just a dream to I'm actually going to take the steps and actively do this on a daily basis?
I will become the greatest advocate for the work that you and Sue are doing going forward. I am guilty of making the same mistake those individuals are making by saying, well, it's okay for him to do it, but I can't. That is not true. That's just a very weak excuse that people use. I've been using it for too long. I was using it last month. You know, thank God you came into my life again and showed me the importance and how easy it is to do it. You know, so I do believe that people need to dispense with these frivolous excuses, and I will be the first person to tell them, no, join me, let's go take a walk going forward. So I am now the biggest advocate, and I will use everything that I've experienced, particularly in the last year, because I've been experiencing all of these triggers to get healthy, to get fit, but I ignored them. But in the last year, for people around the world, all of these triggers were magnified by the pandemic. It made everything very real. It caused us to stop taking life for granted. We realize how fallible we are. We can be here today and gone tomorrow. This pandemic could have wiped out the entire earth. When I think of the number of people who are supposed to have passed away from the virus, the COVID-19 virus, some of these countries are claiming that the number of people who died, that number exceeds the number of people who live in Barbados. So, I mean, how real do you want it to get?
Yeah. I'm just going to press you just a little bit farther on that same question, just because I get all the, we always know what we know. And it's just like people taking courses and reading books. I know that. How did you personally go from knowing it and being shoved into a corner possibly, but instead of going, I can't, and creating some kind of an ailment or an illness or an issue where you actually can't, to stepping over the line and becoming what it is that you knew you could believe, what you believed you could become? What did you have to do mentally for that?
Over the years, it seemed like an insurmountable decision to make, crossing that very, very thin line. But it is, having reconnected with you and then meeting Sue and hearing your stories, and also realizing that I need to be in better shape. It wasn't difficult, Reg. You just have to do it. It's like, just do it. Like, the Nike commercial, just do it. And it's not that difficult. And I've only just begun by making that step. I haven't eaten meat for over a week now, and it's no big deal. It's no big deal.
Yeah. But as you know, the fears that we create, or the movie that we run in our minds when looking forward to creating the future that we may or may not want, we create something and we almost live it before we actually take the steps to do it. So you actually just kind of summed it up in your last couple of sentences. Is you just take one step at a time.
Yeah.
And that's what you found that you do, is that you have decided for yourself to be determined to take that step every day, no matter how hard it is.
But sometimes some people need another person to give them that confidence, that push, that encouragement. Because left on your own, sometimes it becomes a bit difficult to make that move. You become so complacent. You just accept what condition you're in, mentally or physically. And I've got many reasons to get fit now. I'm trying to develop at my age, Reg. At my age, I'm trying to tackle one of the most ambitious projects I've ever done. I need my health. I need to be as fit as I can be. I need to be not only a leader and a role model business-wise, but I also want to be an encouragement for people to get up and do something and get themselves in gear.
Yeah, and at the same time be living the life that you want to be living on the personal, private side of that.
Absolutely. I don't. I don't know how long I am here for, but I want to die as healthy as I've ever been in my life, and as fit, if that is possible. Yeah. I'm sure to some people that will make a lot of sense. I'm going to live every minute. Minute.
Awesome.
But I think that for a lot of people, Charlie, certainly, I'm included in that. It's very much, a lot of people feel a bit overwhelmed sometimes as to where they start. And if you have been ill with anything, it doesn't matter what it is, and you've had that challenge, or there's been some huge life changes personally, people wonder how they start, and you put it so succinctly. You just have to take the first step, because thinking about it is really hard. Actually doing it is much, much easier. A wise man once told me, how do you eat an elephant? Well, one teaspoon at a time. You literally you do have to just take the first step. And it is important that if you feel you can't do anything on your own, engage the people around you who can help and support you. And that can be your family, can be your friends, it can be, a personal coach, a mentor, somebody who can give you so much advice. I know we've been very, very busy, but mentoring and coaching people all around the world on Zoom, because so many people have said what you just said. The challenge was too big, didn't know where to start. You needed somebody to press the go button, because you couldn't necessarily get your head around how to do it yourself. And I think sometimes we're all quite hard on ourselves, and we think, we do. We expect that we should be able to do everything. You're an amazing businessman, so therefore I should be able to do that bit and that bit. And actually,
if you can't, then the whole thing is a failure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
where you
It's-
have to engage people.
Yeah, and that's again where we
It
talk about
does-
joint venture partnerships and finding
Yes.
people that fulfill the needs that you can't.
But you also need your friends and your relatives and any of your peers to be supportive and encouraging, not to be critical.
Yeah.
You know, and because when someone is having financial woes, it can be a lot more difficult to decide to get healthy, to get fit. I mean, when you do not know where your next meal is coming from, or you do not know where your next paycheck is coming from, it certainly magnifies the challenge to get fit, because people lose hope. They become very, what's the point? So you do need the people around you to encourage you, and not
We've
be
spoken about that
not be
quite a bit.
critical.
Yeah, there's a whole chapter in BU about environment, and we've spoken about that on the show here a couple of times. On the people that you choose to surround yourself with are either supporting you to be the best version of yourself possible, or they're ensuring you'll never achieve it. One or the other.
There's also an instant benefit, because when you choose to get fit, go exercise, go swimming every day, the moment that you are doing that bit of exercise, that is a moment that you're really not thinking of your financial issues. So you actually have a distraction, which is quite healthy. So, and I'm not thinking of the light bill. I'm not thinking of the fact that I'm exercising right now. So it is actually quite healthy to be able to get away from all that concern and all that stress that you're having, which is killing you silently anyway. So you can feel this instant benefit once you're actually doing something. You've taken yourself away from the problem, and you come back with a different perspective on the problem.
Awesome.
And I think a lot of people get creative, when they are doing something that actually they find that they do enjoy. And
Yes.
when people lose contact with that, they tend to lose the thing that makes them the happiest. So if they've been playing sport and they're not doing it, there's a lot of people out there, I know so many people that are missing their sport. They're missing doing the team activity. They're missing the camaraderie. And, they're just missing the human contact. We've had to really go in as human beings and really discover so much more about ourselves independently. And for many people, they haven't had the tools to be able to do that. And again, that's when sometimes you need some help if you can't do it on your own. And obviously, you've got a big armory, you've got a big toolkit, so you have personally been able to do that. Not everyone can. And that's part of why we decided, we really wanted Rijooviness TV to be a voice for people to reach out and engage, and that.
If I may say something, I do not want your audience to think that I have become successful by getting fit. I've just started. It's still a challenge every day not to buy that steak. or to use that soda pop with all that sugar in it. It's still a challenge, and I'm yet to really get back into my routine. So I don't want to sit here and try to I don't want people to believe that it is ever so easy. I'm still struggling, but I'm going to keep struggling and moving forward. And hopefully next time you have me on your show, whenever in the future, I can look as fit as Reg and as young as Reg. Yeah.
I'm trying to catch up to you, Charlie. If I could be as good looking as you by the time I'm as old as you are, I'll be a happy man.
Oh, Reg, no, it's not that easy to be this good looking, Reg. I'm sorry. Took me years. Took me 70 plus years.
Awesome.
I don't think we can sort of leave the show, Charlie, without sort of talking about the impact here in Barbados that the pandemic has caused for the tourism industry and how it has affected, thousands of inhabitants. There's 278,000 approximately inhabitants native to Barbados. And, we see the cruise ships parked 10 miles offshore. We see the beaches empty, and we see the hotels not having, occupancy like it is normally. As all individuals who are currently on this beautiful island, what would you like your community and the people that are here currently to do to really, get people, because we will be traveling again, and it will be this year, and it's not that far away now. It's a beautiful place to be. What would you say to everyone about Barbados?
It may have only taken you a few moments to ask that question, but my answer could take about a week, and we don't have that long. But this island has had such a culture shock, an economic shock, a tourism development shock to our system, because we have been far too dependent on tourism for far too long. And having said that, 40+% of our populace, they are employed by the tourism sector, closed down. That was 40% of the population out of work. And the government has had to provide a stimulus package for perhaps up to 60% of their revenue for an extended period of time. This country cannot afford that so easy. I mean, that causes the government now to perhaps look at borrowing more money, and then that increases, that causes all kinds of problems and challenges beyond borrowing money. But we're not going to go that deep into economics. But it has really been an eye-opener. Is not nearly enough of a phrase for what has happened here. You talked about the ships offshore. That is a daily reminder of how tourism has come to a standstill, and it has. And I do hope, like I said earlier in our conversation, the government is able to come up with the right solutions, not to be so dependent on tourism alone. We have the potential to become the Silicon Valley of the Caribbean, for example. I can see a tech hub being developed. I can see more agriculture. I can see more entrepreneurs coming out of this. It has already started to happen, but we might be better off for this, because it was and still is a learning curve for our administration and for the people in Barbados. It is also going to make the people of Barbados be a lot more friendly to tourists when they start coming to Barbados, as they did before, and every one of us will probably become the consummate ambassador, because we realize how devastating it was when we lost them. So I can see even the relations between tourists and locals, that will improve significantly, and it should be encouraged and perhaps leveraged by the government to incentivize each local here on the island and those who are from the diaspora to become ambassadors, and incentivize them to encourage people either to come or to come back to Barbados.
Yeah, and what you said, I mean, one of the things that we fell in love with about Barbados was that people are naturally ambassadors. They generally love living here. They love being from here. They love being born from here. And they love that we've actually come as outsiders to come to visit it, and they're proud of it. And we've met people from one end of the spectrum to the other, and every one of them have that gleam and that beauty and that love for homeland here. And they're so happy that you're here, and they just want you to experience all of it.
Well,
Fantastic.
Charlie, we've had an amazing time with you. Thank you so much. We will have to have you back on the show again, because your wise words and you have so much to give to everyone around the world. And if you want to check out Charlie's new website, new platform, it's the Alumni Social Network, and you can just Google that, join the community for all the opportunities that he's bringing globally to schools and colleges, and really helping and supporting people. So a massive thank you to Charlie, and thank you so much for joining us on the show today. And we'll see you back here on Wednesday and also Friday. We've got some great shows lined up for you with some great people who are going to share their wisdom and again, their entrepreneurialism in this time of change that we find ourselves living in. So connect with us on Rijooviness.com, where you can find about our retreats that we will be hosting all over the world, and starting this year it will be in Barbados, and all of the support that we can offer and give you. There's a shop on there with all the products that we recommend, and if you would like to have personal coaching with myself or with Reg, you can do that too. So
thank you very much for sharing your time with us again, and we look forward to seeing you on the next show.